All right, calling to order the August 10th, 2023 Norton Select Board meeting. All 5 members of the board and the town manager are here, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Peter?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
All right, so we'll start off with some appointments to talk about. The first one is Adam, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing, Gangemi, as equipment operator grade 1 to the highway department. Come on up, gentlemen. How you doing? Good, how are you?
How's it going, guys? It's going to be a 4-part quiz.
Multiple choice.
This is Adam Gangemi. He's worked with us seasonal on the highway and cemetery since 2017. He has his 2A hoisting license. We're trying to hire him as a full-time operator, and he's in the process of getting the CDL as well. I think he'd be a good fit for the highway department.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Adam? No? Adam, did you want to say anything?
No, I mean, happy to be here. Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate Jared for taking me on, and happy to work with you guys.
All right. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, we can go ahead to a vote. So does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Adam Gangemi as equipment operator grade 1 to the highway department. Second.
Okay, hearing a motion in a second. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All, any opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Adam.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, now the meeting's over.
You didn't do that, huh?
Watch out, there's more.
Thank you.
Still got it, Adam.
There you go.
Do we want to reconsider that?
I think it's a requirement to do that.
All right, next up we have the reappointment of Frank Durant to the Recreation Commission. I think Frank was appointed in January, is that right?
Correct.
And then he was just on a short term until
Right.
June, so we're just reappointing him?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any concerns. Does anybody have any concerns? I think we're all pretty happy
I
with
think he
Frank.
did great work. I'll
Yeah.
motion to reappoint Frank Durant to the Recreation Commission.
A second.
Okay, hearing a motion in a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's unanimous. So congratulations to Frank, wherever he is, on his reappointment to the Recreation Commission. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from July 13th? If there are any, or is there any discussion or any amendments or changes?
I'll motion to approve the minutes for July 13th.
A second.
All right, have a motion from Steve and a second from Denise. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that's also unanimous. All right, so we have, just so everybody knows, we do have a public hearing at 7:15. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. So, but first, we do have some licenses and permits to approve. So the first one is to approve the one-day beer and wine license to Robert Meadus for a public event at 98A Bird Street in Norton from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, August 19th, 2023, with a rain date of August 20th, 2023. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, anything in the packet? Any questions about? All right. So we'll take a motion to approve.
So moved. Motion to approve the one-day beer and wine license to Robert Meadus for a public event at 98A Bird Street from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, August 19th, with a rain date of Sunday, August 20th.
Second.
Okay. Any motion in a second? Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous approval for that. So the next one is a one-day all alcohol liquor license to Lauren Bliss for an event at Everett Leonard Park. Does anybody have any discussion on this one? Nope.
So I'll motion to approve the one-day all liquor license to Lauren Bliss for a private event at the Everett Leonard Park from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday, August 27th, 2023.
Okay.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so it's unanimous as well. Next one is an application of MAJJT Properties. This is for Fat Cousins, which is going into the old space at AJ's Stone Oven Pizza on, what is that, East Main? East Main Street.
East Main Street.
So does anybody have any questions or concerns about this one?
I did have a question about the insurance, but Jen responded back to me and said that she made them aware that they'd have to have the insurance in place before.
Right.
The issue, yeah.
Right, this was for the workers' comp cert, I
Yep.
think? Right.
Yep.
Okay. Are there folks from Fat Cousins here?
Yes.
Did you want to say anything to the board, or you're more than welcome to come up and say something?
No, I think, I mean, we're very excited to be in Norton, and I mean, we've had a lot of people coming by and they tell us they're excited to have us there, and we're just ready to start our chapter here, so we thank you very much for having us here at the meeting today.
Great. And there's another location in...
In Lakeville, yes,
Lakeville,
that's our
okay.
first one, yes.
Okay, cool. And this will be, the grand opening is September 13th, is that right?
Yes,
September 13th.
that is
Okay.
the plan.
Are you guys doing like a soft opening or anything before that, or are you just going just right out with September 13th? Just
Right, yeah,
open
as
the
soon
doors
as we can until September 13th, we'll be having the grand opening.
Okay.
The soft opening would be as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty
gotcha.
much.
All right. With anybody, if there's no questions, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the application of MAJJT Properties LLC, DBA Fat Cousins for a common victual license to be utilized at 288 East Main Street.
Second.
Okay. Hearing a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good luck. Congratulations.
Welcome to Norton. Welcome to Norton during CMD.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Looking forward to it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Don't do that for
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Are you guys gonna have delivery?
We are, yes.
Oh, sweet. All right. Very good. That's good news.
We're ready.
Awesome.
We are too.
Yeah.
All right, next up is for the Halloween special events application for the Halloween parade. There's a lot of documentation in the packet for this one, but does anybody have any questions or concerns about this at all we want to discuss?
Standard operating procedure, Mike?
Yes.
No change?
No change. Starting at the town line with Attleboro and going down to St. Mary's.
I'm excited.
I can't believe we're already talking about Halloween.
Oh my God. It's in the stores already.
Get out there now, you will need 4 shopping bags. If you bring your own shopping bags in the Stop and Shop, you'll need at least 4 of those filled with candy.
I think, weren't we going to talk about a budget item for candy?
We were.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that?
There's got to be something in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think we each spent at least over $100.
That's right.
I know I spent over $100.
Can we expense that, Mike, or?
How did you,
All right, no.
how did you carry it?
I'll do it.
James?
But yes, we do have.
Candy with you?
You're gonna have to definitely bring, if you haven't done it, bring a lot of candy.
You carried it by hand?
No, we put it on the back of one of the trucks, and then.
Oh, I was going to say, I can't carry all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, definitely the kids at the front of the parade got a lot more candy than the kids at the end of the parade.
Yeah.
That's always the
we want to
case.
make sure they all
We're gonna
Right now they
have
get
to budget it a little better for this one. Okay, so anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special events application of Melissa Niziolic on behalf of Park and Rec for the 30th annual Charlie Halloween Parade scheduled from 12 to 2 on Sunday, October 29th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's a unanimous approval. And then, just checking the time, so we have 4 minutes.
Do the announcement.
We can start the announcements, I guess, and then we'll do the public hearing. So go ahead.
Okay.
Good, Mr. Clerk.
First one is on the Weatherall's open house at the Norton Historical Society, 18 West Main Street, on Thursday, August 17th at 7 p.m., a week from today. It's the first burial ground, I guess, celebration. The Weatheralls did a fantastic job restoring the cemetery, all in their own time, their own dime, and this is to honor them for that.
It's pretty amazing what they did.
Yeah.
I think it was like 4 or 5 years they've been working on this.
Yeah, at least.
No one would know that cemetery is there. It's way out.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. So that's a week from today at the Historical Society at 18 West Main Street at 7 p.m. And then let's pull up now. Am I doing it?
Yep.
Solo?
Yep.
Okay. So over the past week or so, I had a conversation with Jen O'Neill, who is our new school superintendent, and gave a quick update on the train project. Some of the systems are actually online now. LG Norse, it's been connected, working as expected. JCS, there was a meter issue with the paperwork. I guess the meter number was off. The problem was resolved, and the canopy is now connected and working as expected. The Norton Middle School canopy is working and feeding back to the grid. The only two that are not are at the Yale School. The transformers need to be upgraded. They require an overnight shutdown. And that was just completed on July 25th. Just waiting National Grid to install the meter sets now. And then at the high school, awaiting verification that utility upgrades have been completed, which I believe is a transformer, right, Mike? I believe. And authorization to interconnect from National Grid and install the meter sets. So there's been substantial progress since this was last a topic of discussion. As well as the school has, for the end of fiscal year, there was $207,308 sent back to go towards payment. $66,650 from rebates so far. And Eversource rebates after July are $39,955. So that's expected in whenever that comes in. But I thought it was, given that it was kind of a problem, so to speak, with timing with transformers and whatnot, pushing back revenue back to the town, to the school, and then subsequently the town. This is good progress, all things considered.
Yeah, last time we talked about it, we were waiting on Eversource, right?
Yeah.
That was a big holdup.
And some of that has been worked through since that in the early spring. So,
That's great.
yeah. I thought it was definitely worthy of mention.
Yep.
And What else we gonna go? Let's see.
It's a few.
Yeah. I showed that, well, there was some that were added. I don't know how they got in there.
Yeah.
But Norton Housing Authority, seeking an individual interested in serving on a Norton Housing Authority board. Norton Housing Authority has one board member position available. No experience necessary. This is a volunteer position, and you must be a Norton resident. Board member job description: to oversee board operations and help set and approve policies to improve organizational performance. Looking for an individual who is truly passionate about what the Housing Authority does and are willing to commit time, energy, and strength. Norton Housing Authority Board meets every third Tuesday of the month at 4 p.m. Other events and meetings to attend are scheduled upon board availability. Norton Housing Authority Board is about our residents and future residents of both our Woodland Meadows and Jacobs Way facilities. If you're interested, please submit a letter to Missy, who's the executive director, or Lucia, the town clerk.
All right. Thank you.
Keep going.
We want to finish them, or we want to do the public hearing?
What do you have?
How many more do you have?
Yeah.
3, 4.
All right.
Yeah.
Take a break. All right. So yeah, we're going to go ahead. Thanks, Alec. We're going to go ahead and pause the announcements and go ahead and open the public hearing. I always forget how to do this. Do we have to? We don't have to close the select board meeting, correct? Can we just motion to open the public hearing? Okay.
So I'll motion to open the public hearing of the application of James Meldy Retail LLC, doing business as Campus Market. Manager is Vishal Patel for a new Section 15 off-premises wine and malt beverage license at 63 East Main Street, Unit 2, Norton.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of opening the public hearings?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So the public hearing is open. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Patrick Sullivan. I'm an attorney with an office in North Attleboro, Massachusetts. The attorney probably of record on the application is an Elliot Bray. He has an office in North Attleboro as well. So this is my filing an appearance and filling in. He wasn't able to make it tonight, but I'm here on behalf of Vishal Patel with J. Meldy Retail LLC, as you know, for a liquor license application for wine and malt beverages at 69 East Main Street. They've purchased the property. A little bit of Vishal Patel. I've got a chance to get to speak with him, get to know him a little bit. He's got experience in the industry with convenience stores. He's tip certified. He's a responsible business owner and has had experience with liquor managing stores with liquor licenses in the past. And we think that it would be good at this location. There aren't many in the area. It's been a good business there for years, and feel that it would be appropriate for the liquor license there.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Sullivan or Mr. Patel? Go ahead, Al. Yep.
So you stated you bought the property. Did you buy the store or the whole property?
I believe just a store, yeah. There's a building there with several other tenants in there who don't own the real estate.
Yeah, it's a strip plaza. So you just bought the
Convenience store.
Campus Plaza.
It's across the street from the library.
Okay,
all right.
but the convenience store
the,
portion, right next to the pizza.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Patel, can you come up and just give us a little bit more of your background
sure.
in business and your experience?
Yeah, my name is Vishal Patel. I live in 1284 County Street, Attleboro, Massachusetts. By profession, I'm a master's in engineering, electrical engineering. I started the businesses since 2009. I've been doing convenience stores and other businesses like gas stations. But recently I had a few experience for Barrowsville Liquor in Norton, Massachusetts before as a manager. Other than that, like I do the routine business, like we go through all the ID checking and all the process in place, and we run through the family. So mostly it's there are very few employees, but even the employees are there, they are also get certified and make sure they follow the procedure and records.
Okay. All right, great. Anybody have any questions or anything? All right. Since it's a public hearing, we also open it up to the public for any comments or questions. So if there's any members of the public or abutters that would like to speak, please come on up. And please just give us your name, your full name and address, please.
My name is Jane Burgess. We are from the North Cottage program. I'm the executive director. We're located at 69 East Main Street, directly next door to the plaza. I'm here today just to let you know why I don't think that it's a good idea. North Cottage is a residential treatment program for substance users, and we have been located in Norton since 1972 at 69 East Main Street. I did write this out. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but if you want to pass those out, these are just some of the reasons why it would not be a good idea. The main reason is we are a substance addiction facility, and we're intended to provide a stable and supportive environment for individuals recovering from addiction or transitioning from incarceration. The presence of liquor nearby could potentially undermine the environment by triggering cravings, temptations, and relapse among residents. Exposure to substances that they are trying to avoid could be detrimental to their progress and well-being. The presence of liquor nearby might hinder the residents from fully participating in these services due to increased triggers and temptations. Some of the others, are placing the store that sells liquor near a halfway house might send a message that local authorities or community do not fully support the recovery and rehabilitation efforts of individuals residing in the halfway house, which I know for sure is not true because we work really well with the police and the fire department, and we have for many years. Ultimately, it would be a hardship to have even the wine and the malt liquor beverages next door. Based on the past owner, a bulk of their business is done by our residents. We have 146 treatment residents and over 100 graduate residents that live at that address. And they do go into that store frequently to buy snacks and drinks. So they would be seeing that on a daily basis.
Okay.
So I thought there's not liquor there now. I don't know why
No.
I thought there was.
No,
Okay.
Dave never put in liquor there.
Is the liquor served at any of the other tenants inside the
No.
plaza?
That was my question with the Thai place. I thought they
The
served.
Thai, no, they didn't get they don't have a liquor.
No, Thai doesn't, and the pizza restaurant doesn't.
Yeah. And I will say,
So the other thing I want to add too is just, they're not here today, but we have a church that's about 500 yards away. They offer AA meetings to our residents and the community and to other people in the community and other communities. So it would be a hardship for them too to walk back and forth. And we also have a Head Start program on the other side of us. So, we're kind of settled in there. And, I'm very concerned about what it would do and the rate of relapse for our residents. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Ms. Burgess. Does anybody else have any comments, or you're with?
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely. Please come up and introduce yourself. Full name, please, and your address.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Mancini, and I live at 11 Bristol Avenue in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. I was here as emotional support, really, for my boss, but I've worked at North Cottage now for quite some time. I started there, though, as a resident in 1999. I was a pretty troubled 19-year-old. They told me they were going to send me to Norton, and I was like, where the heck is Norton? And it was the safest place in the world, and it really helped me turn that around. The temptation that Jane mentioned would be, I don't don't want to say a violation, but it's to me, it just wasn't there, especially back then. It's not there now. There's scratch tickets we're finding all the time from the store. Energy drinks are a problem. Whatever, it's life stuff that the guys will have to get through. But I'm sitting there and I was thinking about my roommate when I was a resident. He was this guy named Bill, and he was a cook at a place in Taunton. And he got drunk one, like he just, all of a sudden, he was doing really well, and then all of a sudden he wasn't. And when he was packing his things, I asked him what happened. He said that he didn't know, it was just wine in the kitchen, and he just drank. There was no reason, he just impulsively just did it. And I don't know if I thought about that guy in the last 20 years, but I thought of it now when I think about the proximity and that it could be right there. I have to say that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, if anyone else would like to come up and has anything else to add, please go ahead. Mr. Sullivan, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I don't want to offer this as any rebuttal. I just want to submit it for the record. My client completely hears and understands. We've had conversations. Completely understood on the concerns. Nothing but respect for that. I don't even want to offer anything like a rebuttal that would come across as flippant. I just want to offer that my client is a responsible store owner. He is fully committed to his responsibilities, fully recognizes the concern. All that I've heard from the organization over here is the positive that they do. Totally understand on the concern. Whatever he does, he's going to be a respectful community member. You heard him speak here today. He has a history. He has experience. He certainly understands the concern, but I just want to offer it to the board of what his background is and acknowledge that we fully recognize the work that they do and the importance of it. So I just want to submit that to the board.
Okay, that's appreciated. Thank you. All right, so if we don't have any other comments from the public or questions from the board for the public, we're going to, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All right, and so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then we can go ahead and discuss this right as the board. So, I'll just start off saying that I think obviously we as a board we get in these situations where we have a conflict of what we think is the right thing to do for the town, right? So we have a good business owner who runs a good business, but then we have this extenuating circumstance of this treatment program, literally across the street.
Next door.
Next door.
Steps
So,
don't have to
yeah.
cross the street.
In my mind, I feel like the business owner here is just a victim of being in a poor location for this type of license. Those are my thoughts on it, but I obviously would like to open it up to the board for any comments or discussion.
Yeah, anybody who knows me knows I'm majorly pro-business, but the location for me it's very difficult. I think that North Cottage has been here for so long and doing so much good over there. I would hate to see even one person relapse because of that. That's a hard one for me.
So, as you guys know, I have a lengthy record in town here with business, and one of them being with Larry Schneider. God rest his soul. And that's probably who you knew very well. And if he were here, I think we know how he would, respond to it. I don't think it's a good location for it. We're pro-business. We just don't think, I don't think that this is the right spot for that. I've seen a lot. I did a lot of stuff for Larry there. And all the stories with the relapses and whatnot, and it's all just because it was there. And it's not necessarily there, but it was, there. And I think there's got to be something else that you can bring to us to add to be able to sell in your store, to try and generate more revenue. I personally don't feel this is the right product. With the proximity there is literally a pathway worn in between those buildings.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, it's a national pandemic. I mean, this has been a struggle forever, and we are so pro-business, and we really do want to support. Well, I really want to support anything, anyone coming into this town that wants to, start a business and thrive. But again, just echoing what my fellow board members said, it's just, I think the proximity and location is just not the right fit.
Yeah, I was the same. Absent location, I would be fully supportive, but I've been to that plaza many times to get pizza or go to the convenience store, and I've seen the North Cottage people come in there all the time. Like, they're probably the biggest customers of that plaza, for sure. So yeah, I would have a problem with the location.
Yeah.
And I believe with the, substance abuse problems that have increased substantially in the recent past, I just don't think it would be a good fit there. Bring us something else that you want to sell there that you would need to ask us for.
Yeah. Or a new location.
This is one of those really, really hard decisions because I'm just repeating myself, but I'm very pro business, but it's
like I could pick it up and put it someplace else.
Yeah. Other side of town.
People think these are easy decisions. This is a very, very hard decision, and I have to personally go with what's going to do the less harm. And,
I think as representatives of of what we think is best for the town as well, I think I would worry too about the kind of message it sends to the residents of North Cottage and to North Cottage itself to go ahead with something like this. So. Why don't we? I will take a motion to.
We have to do it in the positive.
Yeah, to approve the application. Anyone want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll motion to approve the application.
Okay. And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Roll call. Oh, sorry, we're going to do a roll call? Okay. Oh, right. So we're going to do a roll call vote in this case. So we'll start down the end. So Denise?
Just say no?
Okay. Or nay?
Nay.
Yeah.
Nay.
Yeah. Meg?
Nay.
No, unfortunately.
And I too am a no as well. So that's a unanimous no for the application for J. Melody Retail doing business as Campus Market for off-premises wine and malt beverages license at 63 East Main Street. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Come back with a new location. We will be much more generous.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go back to announcements. Alec.
Okay.
All right. You're back.
Stand by. Okay. So, all right, next one, Town of Norton Employment Opportunity Part-Time Accounting Clerk. Town of Norton is accepting applications for a part-time accounting clerk position in the Town Accountant's Office to perform general accounting work in various municipal accounting operations within the general ledger, accounts payable and receivable, and payroll, and to assist with clerical accounting activities involving purchasing, grants, budgeting, and auditing. Some of the accounting tasks may include reviewing and processing invoices, preparing checks, and maintaining files of expenditures, data entry from journal entries, and cash receipts. Please visit nortonmass.org for job description, minimum qualifications, and submission requirements. This position will remain open until filled. Hours are part-time, flexible hours, up to 19 hours per week, starting range $20 to $25 per hour.
Thanks, Alec. And just, Mike, real quick, this part-time, this would be working with James?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That was how I got it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
First.
Alec, you don't have to read it.
If he wants to read the whole
If you
thing,
want
he can
to.
read the whole thing.
Can I note it just quick? Just
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Note it quick.
Just,
okay.
bullet points.
Council 93, Local 1702, the employment opportunity for full-time foreman in the Highway Department. It is interested in applying the position must submit a written application to the Highway Superintendent no later than 4 p.m. on August 14th, 2023.
That's a standard notice to the union.
Okay.
So that position's available.
It's 40 hours a week.
Huh?
Yeah.
36.57 to 42.
What is that? And then we have 2023 wine tasting. Thursday, October 26th, 6 to 9 p.m. at Lake Pearl, Rentham Treetop Lounge, $75 a person. Proceeds to benefit the building of simple, decent, and affordable homes for families in need. Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, and word on the street is that these tickets are going fast. So if people want to, and I'm plugged into the streets, just so everybody knows.
You seem like you're really plugged in.
But word on the street is that the tickets are going fast. So even though it's October 26th, if you're interested in helping out Habitat at this wine tasting, please do so ASAP.
Then the notice of the vacancies on town boards and committees that was sent down again. Do I need to read all those?
No, we'll just say there's multiple positions
Go on the website.
multiple boards on in town.
That's
all right. Thank you, Alec.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Does anybody else have any announcements they want to make? All right. Okay, moving on. So we're back to new business. Number 2, the certificate of appreciation for Robert Medeiros. We're going to skip that tonight because Bob couldn't be here. So we're going to put that off until our next meeting. Okay. All right. And then this is the next item is the discussion on the town manager review process. I passed this out to everyone. This is the procedure and timeline that was used for the town manager's previous review. We're a little late on this, so what I really wanted to talk about tonight was just setting some dates. So basically revising the dates that are on this letter or on this cover page, so that we're all agreed on the dates for writing out the town manager's review. It also includes a deadline for the town manager to submit his own self-evaluation as well. This is basically contractual, and it's basically Mike's, the town manager's performance bonus for his performance bonus calculation. I'll just kind of go through this quick, and then we can talk about the dates. And again, with maybe a little bit of urgency to get this done because we're a couple of months late on getting this done. So. Number 1 says the annual period of evaluation is March 1. That'll be 2022 through March 31, 2023. And then just a note on the side, once we get all the dates agreed here, I'll update this, send it out to everyone, and then you'll also get the form for filling out the review. Okay? So. And then next up it says the town manager will submit to the board via email a narrative self-evaluation or comments for each goal identified, including a report on goal achievement by the end of business. And this is sort of the first date that we have to decide. I guess Mike would ask you, do you want what do you think is adequate time for you to get something to us? A week? Okay. Sold.
We don't have any more meetings in August, so would the end of August be okay?
Yeah. So, you want to do August 31st? Okay, so we'll do August 31st. That's for Mike to submit his narrative to us. If you look on the second page, by the way, you can see the 5 categories for the review or the evaluation, and then the scale we use for each one. So the form that we have is pretty self-explanatory. It has a spot for you to put the number rating and then add your comments as well. All right, so board members will complete their evaluations individually without discussion of any kind and send them electronically to the chairman or a delegate as identified by the chair by Monday, April 25th. So we're going to have to change this date, obviously. So I'm thinking 2 weeks from the 31st. Does that work for everybody? So September 15th? Go ahead, Denise. I know you want to say something.
Well, not that I'm going to be doing it, but I was going to say this is only a week difference in this draft that's here. Maybe if you did,
But again, this has nothing to do with his evaluation, so we could actually also have the August 31st. It doesn't matter.
Correct.
It's nothing based on. This is our own evaluation.
Right.
So why not?
But you were going to say 2 weeks from the August 31st, right?
Yes.
So mid-September.
So you're thinking make it shorter?
I'm just saying make it August 31st. I mean, that gives us to the end of. What difference does it make? It's not going to be. We're not basing our evaluation on his evaluation.
Well, I think we can use his self-evaluation.
I don't think we did though in the past, but we could.
Or maybe have a self-evaluation a week earlier, so August, whatever that is, 26th. No, that's not right.
Why don't we do it a week after the 30th?
Why don't we do it a week after the 31st?
A week after.
So September 7th? That's fine.
Sure.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so we'll do September 7th. And, Meg, I got you. That means you can still be working on it, before that. So we'll do September 7th, 2023. I'll put together an evaluation report with everybody's scores and comments, and then distribute to all the board members. This previously was under a time crunch because they wanted to have it done before Election Day and then the board turning over. I personally would prefer more than 3 days to put this together.
Oh, come on.
So, if we want to do a week, so we'll do the 14th. It gives me a week to put it together, and over a weekend, that probably would take me to do it. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
And then the only other thing, so the board will discuss, number 7 says the board will discuss and vote in open session following the town manager's performance evaluation compensation in accordance with section 3 of the contract executed in June 2021. Is that accurate? I think the contract was executed
22
last year, so I'll update those dates to be correct as well. All right. I'll send out an email to everyone with the performance evaluation and everything, so we can get this done. And Mike, I'll send you the form as well for your comments, to add your comments. Just one personal preference thing is you don't have to write a novel, okay? I mean, you can write as much as you would like in the comments, but in my own personal opinion, it's more effective to be succinct and direct. So just keep that in mind as you're writing your comments, please.
I'm not writing any comments.
And it bears mentioning that because of the time period for this review, Denise will not be participating. She was not on the select board during that time period. And Alec did talk to Alec, and Alec would like to participate. He was on for about 6 weeks, I want to say, for that period. You were elected on February 11th, I think.
Yes.
So Alec will be participating as well, but he will have to confine his comments to the time period for the time from February 11th through March 31st. Steve and I and Meg obviously were on the board for the entire time. So, all right. Any questions? I know I kind of blitzed through that fast.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Mike, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay. All right, get to work, Mike.
All right.
All right.
Before we go to the next one, I have an announcement that I forgot to do.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve. We're going back to announcements.
No, it's just really quick. My wife texted me and wanted me to announce this. While we were here, somebody smashed into my mailbox with their truck.
Oh, what?
She said she texted me and said, "Please announce this to the." I'm going to change the words to the bad person who took out our mailbox just now.
Listen, it might have been a new driver learning how to drive.
Yep, definitely not going to make my Facebook feed tonight.
It was Denise. Yeah, it was Denise.
Definitely not going to make my Facebook feed tonight.
Because I'm going to have a new driver soon, so I'm going to...
all right, so...
Did she do much damage to your truck?
Right.
So next up, number 4. This is something I'd like to just keep on the agenda until we get some resolution to it. So this is just another update on the Home Market Foods traffic situation. So do you have any updates on that?
So I know I did talk with Bob Kimball, and they have done some improvement inside, making sure the trucks go around the back. And I know Alec and Steve are aware also that we want some more signage out front that will help.
Okay.
Saying like the distance to the entrance is 200 feet ahead, so the trucks aren't stopping and going and stopping, trying to figure out where the entrance actually.
And there were signs that we could make too. 495 this way, Home Market Foods this way, or deliveries or something like that. Because I don't think we would put their name on it. Okay. But they can make signs at the highway department. I'm not sure if they have yet, but that's something that we can do to stem it.
I think
and no parking, a bunch of no parking signs.
Yes,
I think that would be great. Yeah.
There is a handful that Bob had shown me, Bob Kimball. I ran into him and you know Bob is. Yeah. So, we went over it, and I do believe Jared is looking into it for town signage there.
Great.
Jared can make the signs down on DPW. So.
I mean, they were very reasonable.
Yeah.
Probably signage that should have been up there, no matter who's in that building.
Yeah. I took a ride over there, and I was actually surprised that there was no 240, like you said, 495 or anything. It's just they kind of go out and then.
So I'm over there. I mean, everywhere all the time, but going over there, I know exactly what they were talking about, and this should quell any more issues outside of. I mean, that some things you just can't fix, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And it just is what it is. But from the town side, I think it will show that the town has done everything that it possibly can.
All right, great. And thanks to the Traffic Safety Committee for their work on this. So, all right, so we'll keep an eye on that. But that's a great update. Mike, do you want to take number 5?
Okay.
And then we can kind of just discuss it from there.
Well, before we go through number 5, I was actually thinking we should probably table this with the new information that came out from the governor. The
governor, yeah. So thanks, Steve. It's on the agenda, and I do think we should at least talk about what efforts have been made on the town's behalf to sort of address the question. I know Alec did a lot of work in getting and talking to people and getting kind of the framework, more than the framework, putting together a letter to our representatives. So. Yeah, do you want to kind of fill us in?
Sure. So, in response to some of the answers to the questions that Mike had asked about it, the answers weren't as informative as we would have liked them to be. So, I think, as we spoke, Kevin, I thought it was in the best interest that we send a letter to some of the state reps and Feeney and further Arch and Glass's office. Yeah. How does Norton kind of try and take the lead on this and integrate these people properly, so we can teach them you know, labor skills, work skills, and I know tons of companies that could utilize, you know, entry-level workers. So I, you know, we collectively thought it would be best to do a, you know, that letter appealing to them to, for some resources from the state, federal government, what have you, any agency that we could, any ears that would listen, for, you know, interpreters, social workers, you know, job placement type people, you know, anything, funding, you know, anything to help us. Let's see if we can do the heavy lift. Let's just get some resources that we can from the state of feds. So that letter was Mike drafted that letter, and for review. Yeah. And you know, subsequently Tuesday, the state of emergency was issued by.
It looked like they took your letter. Yeah. It looked like they took the letter and just copied it and sent it out. Yeah. I mean, because it was, you know, in all seriousness, it was addressing the very things that that were drafted in the letter that Alec and Mike and Jen, I think, also heavily in putting it together. You know, which is, you know, we want to do right by these folks who are in a bad situation, right? And they've, you know, it's an emergency situation, and so, you know, helping with job placement, helping integration, helping with social work, you know, those are all things that I think we can all agree are important resources for those folks to have, and to not have them is not really setting the program up for any kind of success. So I think, you know, our goal as a town should be, in my opinion, our goal as a town should be to give these folks the resources they need to either be successful in Norton or to help them get out of this situation so that they can be successful somewhere else. You know, to just kind of put them, you know, in a hotel and not give them the resources. You know, I think Alec made a great point. You know, we want to lead the way and try to be ahead of this. And then, of course, then the emergency declaration came out just the other day. So, anyway, any other comments or questions or?
Just if anyone wanted to assist, they can go to mass.gov /shelter crisis, and the United Way and the Boston Foundation have a relief fund. So if anyone wanted to contribute, they can contribute to that. Also, if you go on that site, anyone that has space that they could rent out, living space, you can fill out an application. A landlord or a homeowner can fill out an application on there to give them some information offering your home as a place for shelter. And so all families moving into new housing or shelter receive support from qualified service providers who can help address issues that arise, and all can access $20,000 in home-based rental assistance to cover costs if someone had housing space.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, the only thing I was going to say was I think that the best way as a town we can help is those ways that Mike just mentioned, right? Reaching out to those organizations and if you have available housing, letting them know through those proper channels. I think unfortunately, because they're in the government system, we're limited with how we can assist because they have the status, they have the systems in place. We don't know, or the average, you know, social worker maybe is not tapped into their system to know what the needs are and what the proper process is to get work authorization. So I think it has to follow through that process with the state, and thankfully the state of emergency I think will help alleviate some of that.
Yeah.
I hope.
I think the question we're kind of faced with now is do we continue? Do we send the letter to our state representatives at this point, or do we hold it because of the state of, because it's changed, right? So things have changed. So I think that's a discussion we should have.
Yeah,
So
I would recommend hold it. I would hold it. Would Mike, talk to Barrows and Howard, see what's the state giving them for direction to tell their.
I talked to Barrows the other day. They're not getting any direction yet.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Because I know they just got a notice, just notifying that they had to place people in Mansfield. They didn't know that before they.
Yeah, that's what I just heard. Yeah.
So is there a you know, how do you put a placeholder, so to speak, for the date?
There was no plan. It was the plan was to get them into housing, but there was no plan after that, which is unfortunate. Which is why the state of emergency.
Yeah.
Government's always behind the ball.
Yeah, but I think sending this letter out now might be jumping the gun.
Yeah, I'll talk to them
Because
and
of
see
the-
what they suggest.
All right. So I think we're agreed to hold off on the letter for now. I do want to thank Alec again for taking the lead on this and putting that letter together.
Yeah.
It really was. It hit all the right notes. It was perfect. But for now, we'll hold off on the letter. So I don't know. Do we need to take a vote to not send the letter, or we just say we just did not have a vote on it tonight? Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. On to a lighter subject. Let's talk about some radios.
Yep.
And batteries.
Now, the police department is asking that you declare a series of radios as surplus. They have 28 Motorola radios and 11 chargers for them, and 50 more batteries, all as surplus. And we'll see what we can get for them.
All right. Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to declare the Norton Police Department's 28 Motorola XTS 2500 radios, 11 chargers, and 54 batteries as surplus.
Second.
All right. Hearing a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. And next up.
Same thing, the highway department has just got an entire machine and balancer, and they're looking to sell this on for sale.
And this is
So
it.
they want to declare their entire machine and balancer as surplus.
Motion. I'll make a motion to declare the Highway Department's tire machine and balancer as surplus.
Second.
Okay. Hearing a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Unanimous. Does anybody have any topics not reasonably anticipated?
No, we have one more.
Yeah, we got one more?
Sewer generator.
Oh, I already checked it off. I was in a hurry. Sorry about that.
The Water and Sewer Department has a 175 kilowatt generator that they would like to declare surplus. It's been replaced as part of a sewer station upgrade. And they also have an electric truck mounted crane that they would like to declare surplus.
I'll make a motion to declare the Sewer Department's 175 kW generator from the Cobb Street Sewer Station and the electric truck mounted crane as surplus.
Second.
All right. I'm hearing a motion from Alec and a second from Steve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I think one of you beat me on it.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I had to make a judgment call.
Yeah.
Next up, anybody have any topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of this meeting? Okay. All right. Moving on. So next up we have old business. We have review, discuss, and or vote on the Select Board Code of Conduct. I have thoughts on this. We received a number of comments, which is great. Got a lot of comments from the different boards, members of boards, board chairs. There is a lot of them, one of the things that we talked about a couple meetings ago was not rushing through things. So I'm going to propose that we take some time to review the changes that were suggested. What I'd like everyone to do, obviously you are welcome to comment on every single comment that was suggested. But what I'd like everyone to do is maybe boil down kind of your three, major thoughts on the suggestions, or your three things that you think really need to be changed. If it's 5 things, 10 things, I don't care, but let's just try to kind of focus on, otherwise we're going to be in this, going through this thing for 3 hours, going through all the changes that were suggested. I think it might be good to just get everybody to look through it, summarize what changes you'd like to see, which ones do you think are the important changes, and then we can put a draft together and send it to town council. Mike, does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Guys, board members? Does that sound okay?
Very much agree.
I saw that today, and I was like, yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Well, the feedback I got was quite a bit too. So.
Yeah. And Denise's comments were like hardly any, which I was shocked. I thought
mine
you
were
were
a lot. So I mean, they redlined or commented on the one that I redlined.
Yeah.
So is it 3 big things to change from which version?
What version went out to everybody?
Yeah, the one that went out to everyone
was the one that I redlined.
Correct.
Yes.
And then some people redlined that one. Well, I mean, you've already kind of made your review and made your changes, so I think you're good.
Okay.
If you want to go through it again and see if there's anything in there that you agree with that is important that we change, then certainly bring that up.
Would it be helpful to try to collate them together?
Just do new stuff.
Is that something that you're volunteering to do?
Sort of. I don't know if I could do it. Well, let's talk about the next meeting before I agree to it.
Okay.
Well, it's not going to be in August.
It's not going to be in August. And again, I want to emphasize, it's great that we're going through these policies, but there's no need to rush through them, right? So, and I certainly don't want to put it off until, next spring. But I think it's, let's go through it. We got a lot of suggestions. Let's take it seriously, go through them all, and then but I don't want to have it at a session here where we're arguing about every single point. I think that would just get to be too counterproductive.
I'll agree to collate it because I think it would be helpful to see multiple people commenting on the same things, and let's look at those kind of hot spots, right?
Yeah. I think that would be great. So, that's really appreciated, Denise. Thank you. And what we can do is we can put it on the agenda for the next meeting, and if you need to put it off to the following meeting, if you need more time, that's fine too.
Motion to table to the following meeting after that.
All right. Motion to table. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think you guys understand what you just voted on. I said to the meeting after that.
All right. Very good. Next meeting after the next meeting?
Yeah.
All right. He just bought you some time, Denise.
All right.
So.
That was a joke motion.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for that. And then I'll let you go ahead with your town manager's report.
I received notice today from Keith Drucker from Senator Feeney's office. I asked him if he could let me know what survived when it comes to earmarks. Because as you know, a lot of times there's earmarks put in, but they may survive and then the governor may cut them out. But 4 earmarks did survive for the town of Norton. $25,000 for Norton Public Library for their paving project.
Nice.
$15,000 for NOPE, the Norton Opioid Prevention and Education Collaborative. $15,000 for improvements to Everett Leonard Park. And $25,000 for improvements on the intersection of Route 140 and Route 120.
Really? 25,000?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
They said they were going to get us 50, so 25.
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
I want to thank them for that.
Yeah.
I was hoping I
I did attend a ribbon cutting today. Representative Howard was there also for a new business in town for Reverend Slender. It's a med spa. It's located at 85 East Main Street and very high-end equipment in there.
Good luck to them.
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
And just wanted to say that Chartley Pond and the reservoir are going to be treated. next Monday. So there will be signs put out there, or they may already be out there. And on both those ponds, there'll be no boating, fishing, and swimming on August 15th, and then any livestock watering until August 16th. Any drinking or cooking with the water on August 18th, and any irrigation from water from the reservoir or Jockey Pond not until August 20th after those treatments. That's part of the ongoing treatment program. I did give you, we got a notice that we'll have a hemp farm received permission from the state that will be located in Norton. That will be on Maple Street. Okay. And also I gave you information that has to do with new regulations for marijuana. The first one, and also I love the memo that we got from the state that was dated June 29th, asking us to come up with policies and procedures related to equity in the marijuana industry by July 1st. As far as we'll work on that, and we're doing that anyways. I mean, if you remember the process when we had a few companies at once and it went through the EDC, social equity was very important, and they took that into account. So I think we shouldn't have a problem with that. The other thing is the new legislation, and I gave you a draft letter that the MMA did, to see if you wanted to support that. One of the things in that is we have this like 500 HCAs that are already signed in Massachusetts. So what they're trying to say to the Cannabis Control Commission, with your new regulations, don't make them apply to HCAs that have already been signed. Let those stay as they are. They only last so many years anyways, 3, 5 years, whatever it is, 3 to 5 years. So then new HCAs will have to be put in place. So that's the main part, just not making it go backwards with current existing HCAs. So if that's something you're interested, I could have that letter done up, and I could send it on your behalf if that's something you agree to do.
I'm fine with that. I read through it. It's not trying to say, like, in perpetuity those HCAs would never be amended. It just says at renewal, I believe that they could, then the changes could, the new rules could go into effect at the renewal of the contract. So it's just basically saying just that one contract would be, and I think
no
that's
retroactive.
Fair.
Yeah,
we don't want to make the current HCAs obsolete.
Yeah. So I think that's fair. So. Do we want to go ahead and take a vote then to authorize Mike to draft that letter?
Sure.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's some mixed bag.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
This is
nope, we got one more thing. We're still going.
I had to approve the warrants, but I thought they...
No, I got one more thing. So I'll be quick though. I've been a little late in updating the board on what the EDC has been doing. So I just thought I'd mention a couple of things. I mean, I'm sure you're all watching the EDC or reading the EDC minutes. So I don't really need to go over what we've been doing. So what we've been working on mostly has been trying to tackle some of the items in the master plan, so that's got to do with like placeholding and some other parts of the business district and things like that. So we've been working on that. We've been working a little bit with the Norton Business Association as well to be a part of their to be a resource for their efforts in setting up a private business association. So we've been working on that. We are also working on an engagement process with local businesses for the EDC. So basically, how do we reach out to local businesses? How do we promote Norton business? So we are, we're working on some items like stickers for the doors of the retail businesses, things like that. But also putting together a database of contact information and all that, so that we can we can shoot out emails and things like that. So trying to pull all that together. We've been holding meetings at area businesses, which has been great because we've been able to meet the owners and the employees at some of the businesses in town. So far we've been to Fiesta Mexican Restaurant, Bog Iron Brewing, Canna, which I missed, unfortunately, and then just last week we were at
Home Depot.
We were at Home Depot,
and I got a tour of the place with the EDC, and I took photos and shot some videos, and it was humongous. It was so huge.
I was going to say those first three businesses you said had kind of something in common.
Yeah, we had to get it a little bit more. Yeah,
I think maybe we should have. Yeah, was it a problem?
Home Depot was great, they're doing a great job over there. It's a great facility. I was really impressed with all the safety efforts they have going on there, which I think is great. Given my day job, so
you're not an insurance guy.
Yeah, I'm an insurance guy. So really cool that we've been able to do that. We'll continue to do that. And then last but not least, we are taking a look at. We had a meeting with Chris Zahner to talk about the current process for approving food trucks in town, there is a food truck policy that we have in place. I don't want to speak on behalf of the board, so I'll just speak on behalf of myself. I think the policy is way too restrictive to try to get food trucks. In many towns, it's basically the Board of Health approves them, but we have sort of a lot of roadblocks that prevent food trucks from coming to town. So the EDC is going to look at trying to come up with some suggestions for the select board to look at for a revised or a new food truck policy. As of right now, it's in Chris's hands because he's taking a look at it to kind of give his expert view of it, and then we're going to kind of take his suggestions and then talk about it a little bit more, and then we'll bring it to the board to talk about it. So
excellent.
Yeah,
if I could suggest, perhaps reach out to some of the area towns that do the big food truck gatherings and see what kind of policies they have in place.
So we have
just kind of get the best of the best, right?
We do have some model. We do have some model ones that we've looked at, some other towns, there's differences for sure in how they're handled. We just want to make the process streamlined. We obviously want to make sure that they're safe and all that kind of stuff as well. But we also don't want to hinder a food truck event or having a food truck at an event at Everett Leonard Park, for example, right? Because that's public property. So we want to make sure that we have something that works, but also is streamlined and find that balance. Yeah. But yes, we have reached out. We have gotten some other towns' policies. And I actually know somebody who's in the Canton Board of Health that I'm going to reach out to as well and see if he can offer any advice. So,
I think, with the policy, the select board policy, the main focus on that was permanent almost food trucks. So if somebody is going to set a food truck up in a parking lot every single day of the week, and that person is selling the same thing as the person that has a building next door or just within short distance, that wasn't fair. That someone that has a building, they're paying taxes on that building, they're paying personal property, they're doing this, and then someone plops a food truck next to them and selling the same type of food. So that was the main thing with that. Not like if you're having an event or a food truck is coming in and parking, periodically. Right. Those aren't really what the intent was.
Well, Thai place started as a food truck, right? Guys.
Yeah, and I think there was definitely, I think it was the hot dog stand. I think was one of the original.
Yep. The original hot dog stand
was technically a mobile.
Started by Jim Brown back in 1980.
I missed the hot dog stand.
We went there a lot.
Yeah. So Mike is correct. Like a lot of it, you can tell is like more towards like permanent, and so it's just kind of a bad fit for having like temporary food trucks. It doesn't really address that as well. So we're going to try to make it, and maybe bring some events or some life to some events by having food trucks come to town.
So that's just the Board of Health making a temporary food truck policy.
Yeah, and online permitting, like there's certain things like if you're going to take up a certain amount of space or whatever, you got to get police to sign off on it, or that kind of stuff. I will say that there's a lot in the current policy that it falls on the select board to do a lot of it, and I feel like they could be handled by the Board of Health. They don't need to necessarily get involved, only in very special circumstances. Again, that's my own opinion on it.
Similar to the applications for Everland Park.
Right. Yep. So, all right. So more to come on that. I think that would be cool if we could get something by spring, so that we could have that in place by the spring, so that we can maybe do some cool stuff with that.
Great.
So
yeah.
All right. That's all I got.
All right. And I approve the warrants as written.
All right. All right. Next meeting.
Oh yeah.
Get out your calendars.
November what?
All right. So. So September
14th.
I think we should do. I think we should resume every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So the 14th and 28th then.
So we want to do.
At the 7th. We're all around. Kids are going back to school, right?
The 14th might be good though, because there's a ribbon cutting just before, not just before.
And we got to do the Hicks meeting.
Oh, the Hicks meeting, yeah.
But we gotta look at like holiday. I mean, this is where we run into our problems. Is all of a sudden we're like, oh, it's Rosh Hashanah, and we're having a meeting. Like, we just need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe what we do is we set the next meeting for the 14th, but then we collectively have to just like really look at the calendars and map it all out from there.
I mean, today
it might not be every 2 weeks. Like,
yeah,
we just gotta look at it so it's not falling on Thanksgiving. And then
We can do the 14th and the 28th at least, right? September. And then we can look at October, November.
Do we think
I'll go through with Jen. We'll go through all the dates and see make sure we don't hit any holidays and send you suggestions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And when's the next meeting?
Perfect.
14th of September.
Next meeting is 14th of September, right?
14th of September.
Thank
Got
you.
it. All right, sounds good. All those in favor of 14th of September?
Aye.
Okay. All right, and then we'll get some dates. We'll start looking at dates into the fall. But yeah, we probably should start doing it for 2 weeks. Okay. All right, I'll.
Do you need to do a meeting date for the Hicks thing too? To Alex?
I think we can do that.
Yeah,
we can do that
yeah.
offline, I think. Yeah.
It'll probably be the same day.
It will probably be the 14th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going to be in the new town hall by then, Mike?
Maybe the next meeting.
Okay. All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Gotcha again. All right. Hearing a motion from Steve and a second from Alec to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.